Well, hello my lovelies, it's Murky Meg here. It's Thursday the 14th of October, and I'm not sure whether you guys know, but Harry and Meghan have got into banking. Yes, that's right, but not just any old banking, it's ethical banking, I'll have you know, because the woke couple that they are. They have been appointed impact partners at Ethic, which is based in New York with a huge fund of cash. Couple introduced by the firm by friends, but haven't said how much they've invested or if they will be paid. Of course they haven't, because they don't really disclose this type of thing, do they? Ethic claims it will only invest investors' cash in businesses it believes passes its social responsibility criteria. The founders of Ethic were all worked for big banks such as Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan before claiming to have epiphanies about ethical funds. It's apparently one of the fastest growing sectors in investment banking. Of course, as ever, the couple announced their tie-up with the statement that said, "When we invest in each other, we change the world." Is that right? Didn't see you investing much time in the royal family, did we, Meghan? And they did an interview with New York Times in which Meghan said, "From the world I come from, you don't talk about investing, right? You don't have the luxury to invest. That sounds so fancy. My husband has been saying for years, gosh, don't you wish there was a place where if your values were aligned with this, you could put your money to that same sort of thing." So does this imply that they are investors or that they're getting paid? It's clear as mud, isn't it? And I'd just like to add that were it not for your family, Harry, you would be nothing. You wouldn't have anything. All the money that you have, aside from your army salary, has come from your white privileged family. And was it not that long ago that you were complaining on a worldwide broadcast interview that your father had just cut you off? So you were complaining that you needed to make money, and now you're complaining that you need to ethically invest this money. Is this a magic money pot? And now it transpires that the ethical investment firm has ploughed millions into Facebook and Twitter. Does my ban make sense now? I'm quite honestly raging that he signs up to Google and then he signed up to work with this ethical investment firm that has links to Twitter, and I get banned for doing absolutely diddly squat. Not a single violation on my count. Not a single time in Twitter jail. Yeah, bam! It came out of nowhere. It's all lining up, isn't it? Now, a lot of people have said perhaps it was the Time magazine cover and the reface that I did with Harry singing along to Queen's I Want to Be Free. Other people used the exact same magazine cover with similar songs from an app called Reface and posted to social media. They didn't get bans at all, but I did. So I don't think the Time magazine cover had anything to do with my ban, because other people did it and they're still standing. It's got to go so much deeper than a single tweet. It really, really does. And now that they are in cahoots with this ethical investment firm that have ploughed millions into Twitter, it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Now, it was the Telegraph that broke this story yesterday. They said that the ethical investment company backed by the Duke and Duchess has ploughed millions of pounds into pharmaceutical companies that develop COVID-19 jabs, despite previous calls from the couple for vaccine makers to share their secrets. So not only do they invest heavily into Facebook and Twitter and Google, which owns YouTube, but they also plough millions of pounds into pharmaceutical companies that develop the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, Harry and Meghan have campaigned publicly for the vaccine equality, and they have lobbied that pharmaceutical firms need to waive the patents for developing world, which basically means they want them to share the patents so anybody can develop these vaccines and not just their own companies and reap the rewards. But isn't it ever so hypocritical? I wish we'd only just used that word for them just once, but it keeps cropping up time and time again, doesn't it? That the couple are now impact partners. I mean, mean, that's a really, really woke word, isn't it? For a company that has ploughed millions of pounds for the same pharmaceutical companies that the couple are lobbying for them to share the patent. I'm struggling to get my head around that. I really, really am. They want them to do something, but they're happy to work with a company that's ploughing millions into the companies that they're fighting against. It's almost like they don't do due diligence. But no, that can't be right, because they've never done that before, have they? Yeah, they have. In the most recent filings for the investment company shows that it has invested in shares of social media firms Facebook and Twitter and internet and tech giants Amazon and Apple, as well as AstraZeneca, Novartis, Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson. I'd also like to point out that Harry himself, a couple of years ago, said that social media was as bad as drugs, because it was a scorn of the earth. That's me paraphrasing, to be perfectly honest. He didn't really say those words, but we get the drift, don't we? Yet he's now working with a firm that has shares in these exact companies that he said are the devil. Again, slightly hypocritical move there, Harry. But the Telegraph have uncovered some very interesting detail here. It says the Duke and Duchess invested in Ethic during a funding round this year. They also have their own investment portfolio managed by the firm. Isn't that a conflict of interest? So they were clients, they've invested their money, or maybe Archwell's money, into the Ethics investment fund, and now they are impact partners. Are they just purely there to lend their name to give it a boost? Ding, 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 ding. And isn't that just exactly using your titles to profit off it? It's sad, really, isn't it, that they still have those titles? Apparently the couple made their involvement public on Tuesday, saying this is one of the ways we put our values in actions. Well, the money that you are putting in to ethics is also having shares in Twitter, Google, and all those companies that you are working against so they can share the patent. I'm very rarely speechless, but I'm finding myself speechless on this occasion. I really am. They stood on a stage in front of New York, and they did it before in Canada, where they said they urged the pharmaceutical companies to share the patent to have vaccine equality. Yet they are in cahoots with a company that are piling millions of pounds into those very pharmaceuticals and the social media giants that they're fighting against for misinformation. I just don't get it. Is it all about money? Yes. Or fame? Yes. Or using your titles? Yes. Do they have any ethics at all? I mean, if the Telegraph have uncovered this, surely their team would have uncovered this. Or do they just not care? The company that they're now in cahoots with invested almost $750,000 in Pfizer, $1.6 million in AstraZeneca, $2.2 million in Novartis, and $2.5 million in Johnson & Johnson. Pharmaceutical company Safoni received $1.6 million, and GlaxoSmithKline received $760,000. This company has also invested £6.9 million in Facebook shares, making it the company's 13th biggest investment. But more worrying for me, it has a $32 million stake in Alphabet, the parent company of YouTube owner Google, and a $2 million investment in Twitter. They've invested $30 million in Amazon shares and $45.8 million with Apple and $323,000 in Netflix, where the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have signed a multi-year commercial deal to make television streaming programs. I'm almost tired of their antics. I really, really am. If you are so passionate about something, like the vaccine equality, like making sure that everything is ethical and above board, and that you want to invest well, why on earth is this company investing in the big giants that control the media and have made Harry and Meghan impact partners? I fear for my YouTube channel. And you know, the irony is, if they're invested in a company which the Telegraph has uncovered, Harry and Meghan have invested in ethics funds. They themselves, that money that they have given to them, are invested in the giants of the world, the Facebooks, the Twitters, and also the pharmaceutical companies that they are rallying against. That is hypocritical, and it's wrong. You can't say one thing and then make money off exactly the opposite thing that you're trying to do. It's wrong, and it's made me really cross. So I would love to know your thoughts on all of this. Do you think that they were blissfully unaware that ethics threw this role of impact partners at Harry and Meghan and they jumped? Or do you think as investors and as partners and as an employment that they really should have looked into the funds that this company are investing in, the companies that they're investing in, and if there is any conflict of interest, which there clearly is on two accounts of the pharmaceuticals and of the social media, which Harry has come out and completely ripped to shreds, wouldn't it be your responsibility to make sure morally that this company isn't going against your morals? No, they wouldn't do that, would they? Well, they have. So I'd love to know your thoughts on all of this. Do you think it's wrong that they are now impact partners and investors in a firm that invest huge amounts of money into pharmaceutical companies and social media giants when it's something that Harry and Meghan are lobbying against? Why is nobody not talking about this? Why is it only the Telegraph that's picked it up? This is huge! As always, I would love to know your comments on this. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and also that like button. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my followers for all the tips and all the emails, DMs that everybody sends to me. It really is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much for watching once again.